When you got dressed this morning, you probably didn't think about all of the resources that went into making your clothes. But the three basic economic questions were asked and answered over and over as resources from around the world came together to make the clothing you're wearing right now. For example, before your shirt could be made, someone in a place like North Carolina or Egypt had to answer the question, what should we produce? And they answered that question with cotton, rather than with broccoli or hubcaps. The cotton farmer had to answer the how should it be produced question to determine how the cotton would grow and be harvested. Finally, with guidance from your behavior as a consumer, the for whom should it be produced question was answered with your name. Now, suppose the cotton was sold to a textile company in Thailand. The same three questions were answered as the textile company turned the cotton into fabric. The fabric was then dyed, which required another company to answer the what question with dye. The questions were answered again when the fabric was cut and sewn into t-shirts by some combination of people and machines. They were answered when the t-shirts were transported by ship or air to a warehouse, when they were distributed to stores by trucks or trains, and when a store offered the shirt to you in exchange for money. As with shirts, there are many stages in the production process for most goods, and the three questions must be answered at each stage. Multiply the many stages by the millions of different goods produced in a typical economy, and the importance of the three key questions becomes clear. How exactly are these questions answered? In this module, you will see that it all depends on the economic system that that country has in place. So what will we look at in this module? Well, first, we're going to focus on a key idea, and that is that a country's economic system determines how well it can achieve each of the economic goals that we looked at in the previous module. And every economic system has pros and cons. Some economic systems do very good at achieving some of those economic goals, but not others, while different economic systems are better at other goals and not the other ones. So we'll look at each of these economic systems and determine how well they meet the economic goals. In doing so, we'll explain what an economic system is and how incentives play a role in each of these systems. We will describe the features of a traditional economy, one type of economic system, a command economy, another type, a market economy, a third type, and finally, a mixed economy. So we'll look at 4 different types of economic systems that have been developed to answer these questions. So, with that said, let's begin our look at what economic systems actually are. An economic system is an organizational structure for addressing what, how, and for whom to produce, the 3 fundamental economic questions that must be answered by every society. The way an economic system answers these questions, however, deeply influences people's lives. As you saw in the story that I just told you, the economic system of the former Soviet Union allocated relatively few resources to the satisfaction of citizens' wants, which made life in the Soviet Union dramatically different from life in the United States. Economic systems come in 3 main forms: traditional economies, command economies, and market economies. Most economies, however, are influenced by more than one of these forms, the result being a 4th type called a mixed economy. If economic research shows one thing, it is that incentives shape human behavior. An incentive is the prospect of a reward or punishment that influences a decision or motivates greater effort. We encounter incentives in our lives every day. Consider the following examples. The reward of wages gives people an incentive to work. Higher wages motivate people to work more. The fear of a parking ticket provides an incentive to park legally. The desire for good grades is an incentive for you to do your homework. The prospect of a better job is an incentive for you to stay in school and graduate. It's not that people necessarily dislike their work, and of course you know how much fun school is, but every activity has an opportunity cost. By choosing to do one activity, you are giving up the opportunity to do any other activity. In any given hour, you can choose from hundreds of things you like to do or should do. It is often incentives that determine which of those activities you pick. In this module, we examine how each type of economic system answers the three basic economic questions. And we will look at how well the incentives created within each system address the five key economic goals.